Welcome to the Gallant Few Rangers podcast, who are proud to be sponsored by the Insurance Practice. The team at the Insurance Practice specialise in family protection and life insurance, and who better to look after you and your loved ones than fellow Rangers fans. Listeners of the Gallant Few will get a free protection review, so get in touch with the team at www.theinsurancepractice.co.uk or contact the Gallant Few for more information.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Gallant Few podcast. Today we will discuss a 2-0 victory over St Mirren and preview one of our biggest games of this season. My name is Scott Hodge and I'm joined with Iain McCreadie. Iain, how are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
Good. And also Graeme Currie, how's things? Thanks for promising the listeners a midweek show. My dinner's going to be cold now.
Yeah, sorry about that. I've just guaranteed the listeners a podcast post-match, which wasn't really in the schedule, but now that we've promised the listeners, we've got to do it. I did find the hosting a bit daunting through the week, so I'm glad to have passed it back to you, Hodge. Although I did see a comment on the social media. It was the best host the Gallant Few has ever had.
That was good of you to get your bub to comment on that, wasn't it?
No, it was actually my mum. I had to set her in
Well, the last time we done a preview for the old farm, it turned out all right. So we tried to keep the same system. So I was hosting, Graeme, you were here as well. So all we've done is upgrade Colin to a better looking and more intelligent Iain. So hopefully a sign of things to come for the game at the weekend. So we'll touch upon today's 3 o'clock kickoff against St Mirren in the league. A 2-0 victory against the Buddies. I mean, I didn't even realise it was a 3 o'clock kickoff today. It's all right for you, Iain, and you being off work just now, but bit of kicking the ball, so that's still working, eh?
Do you know what? I'd forgot it was a 3 o'clock kickoff myself, but fortunately being off, I was able to just stop what I was doing and sit down and watch a game.
I know. Well, I had to take a lunch break at 3 to 4, and I must say I wasn't really in my work from 4 to 5. So, yeah, I hear that the second half wasn't as eventful as the first half, so I'm glad I caught that one anyway. So I know you guys discussed this in the weekly roundup, but coming to the day of the game, Graeme, were you full of confidence when you had the lineup, and now that the day had arrived to replace St Mirren?
Yeah, I did. I think the confidence grew as the kick-off approached. The lineup came out, strong lineup. I didn't have any concerns. We were just settling a score, and yeah, it proved to be the case.
So just run through the lineup there. So the lineup was McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Hollander, Barisic, Kamara, Aribo, Davis, Ruth, Hadji and Morelos. So the major talking point there is Kent having a break today on the subs bench. Iain, what was your thoughts on that? Do you think it was the right? Well, I mean, obviously we got the 3 points. Was it the right move? And do you think this will benefit him for the weekend?
I do. I think he had played every game in the league so far, hadn't he? Probably played every game in Europe. Probably has he played every game? He might have. So yeah, probably an ideal time to take him out right before Celtic, and get him just that extra wee rest. And as we've seen with the Celtic defence, they're not the best. So having him had a fresh week, then I think it's a good call. I was a wee bit surprised when I seen it, but it makes perfect sense because Ruth's obviously not played every game. Had a few out through injury. Morelos has been suspended for a couple. So, yeah, everybody's kind of had a wee break that we've got up front just now. So, all should be nice and fresh going into the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I must say I was a bit surprised just because, I mean, if it had been somebody we'd beaten before, but I think there was a bit of bad blood in there as well. So, I was quite surprised like you. I thought maybe if we had the opportunity, we may have started him and maybe brought him off half. I mean, I know Gerrard doesn't make half-time subs, but I thought he'd maybe go for his strongest 11 here today. and then maybe look to rest a few players. We've obviously got that 5 subs rule for this season, and I thought, maybe this was the opportunity to do it if we did go like the game went itself. There's also another milestone to tick off for Iain McCreadie, making his 400th appearance for Rangers today. A great achievement, Graeme. I know you're not his biggest fan, but a wonderful servant to the club.
Yeah, definitely. First spell, done so much for us. Even coming back, I know I do criticise him now again for his kicking and his claiming crosses, but he is a fantastic goalkeeper. It's a remarkable achievement to make 400 appearances for the club. A great servant, but yeah, congratulations to him, and a great way to celebrate it with a clean sheet.
Definitely. I think as well, this might be his. Well, I mean, people had their thoughts in following him when he was here. It was we all said he was a good backup keeper, but I think this season especially, this has been his biggest, well, for Rangers anyway, his biggest test in terms of the quality of player behind him, and he has kept his performance to a high level. So fair play to him at his age for keeping the standards as high as he is. We'll come on to Iain McCreadie a bit in due course, but in terms of the first chance of the game, it fell to St Mirren. So I don't think we really covered ourselves in glory with this one, Ian. They sort of got the shot away. It was parried to Bika, who put it over the bar, thankfully. But what was your thoughts on our defending sort of early on in the game?
Yeah, it was a wee bit sloppy. They'd won before that as well. Like about a minute in, if even that. Well, Davis sloppily gives the ball away, and the boys had a shot for about 25 yards, and so kind of didn't start particularly well. And like you say, Obika's allowed to get the ball, and he's able to take a couple of touches and then skies his shot, fortunately. Was a bit sloppy. I thought Helander was a wee bit lucky as well. If you watch it again, he's pulling on him. And, I mean, like, if Obika falls to the ground, they might get a penalty. But he's big and honest, at least. But I felt Helander was pulling him. But, yeah, get away with one there.
Definitely. It's just so hard because I think we've defended so well coming to this stage of the season, and it's only natural that other teams are going to have chances, but I guess it is just because we've had such a good start. If you look at previous seasons, we're giving away maybe 3 or 4 good chances a game and we would be punished, but now, when 1 or 2 fall, it looks a lot worse than maybe it actually is. So I think it was a wake-up call, but I think, if we do this moving into bigger games like the weekends, we may be punished for it.
Just on that, it's something that we've raised a few pods now. It's that chance that you raised, I totally agree, and there wasn't a chance 14 seconds in, I thought. But that chance that you were referring to, Scott, is something we've mentioned in previous pods, where it was a cross for the left-hand side, wide, and it came right across the box. It's something we really need to deal with. McGregor didn't deal with it, and luckily Barisic was tight. It was really tight to his man, so he was able to actually close it out. But it was a weak shot as well, so we were quite lucky, and it was one that we did get away with.
How would you think the best way to resolve that is? Like, if we're, everybody talks about this schedule. We're playing 2-3 times a week. There's not much time in the training pitch. It's is it maybe a time to look at dropping him? I mean, we took Barisic out of the team, for example, against St Mirren, and Barsi had a bit of a shocker. Do you think we just need more time in the training pitch to resolve this?
Yeah, it's something that needs to be looked at. Yeah, but I don't know if it was Colin or if it was Craig that raised it. Jack being missing is making that difference because he would usually cover that role. I think that was a really good point, or a good point to raise, because they're not getting that cover at right back, where it's something Jack would easily have filled in and hopefully have cut out, but or it's just that's the way we play. So there's going to have to be one weakness in our system somewhere. It was a lucky break we got, because if they score there, pressure comes on us. I know I'm a bit of a pessimist, but that would have been a bit of a struggle if that one did go in.
No, I completely agree. It's especially what happened there. It would have been a would have been a worry and they'd been backs against the wall. But luckily we did get a goal on the 27th minute through Kamar Roof. Are we giving that one to Kamar Roof, by the way, or has it been classed as an own goal?
I'd give it a Roof.
Roof, yeah. So it was quite sloppy defending. I mean, we're criticising our defending here, but I think, for our 2 goals especially, it was comical at times. But I thought it was really good play from Hadji. Showed intelligence there, and I think, what a difference he's made, and he just plays a nice ball. I think they're linking up superbly at the moment, Roof and Hadji and Kent. It's been a real partnership for them, where playing all about the park. I know Roof can play on through the middle, and he was playing a bit more deeper this time. Played it through to Roof, and Iain, you shoot, you score, isn't it?
Absolutely. It gets the lucky deflection, but I do think that's Roof goals, isn't it? Like the rule, if it's on target, it's his goal. So it's definitely Roof's goal. You said Hadji was intelligent. I think he was also tenacious to win the ball back. A good wee bit of fight in him. He gets the ball back, and then when he does get it and he turns, his head's up right away, and he sees that wee run for Roof, that's exactly what Hadji's there for. He make that wee pass, just in and around the edge of the box. We killer passes into the strikers.
Yeah, definitely. Just really intelligent play, and they both seem to be in like the same wavelength. Graeme, do you not think so? Like in terms of they know where he's going to move, they know where they want it, they know the way to pass, and it's lovely to watch at times, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good forward play. It's good interchange that we're making between us. Good passing movements that we've. But it's always been there. I think it's always been there. It's just starting to come to fruition now. Practice makes perfect, and the more we do this, it's just going to enhance our play. Totally agree with Iain. That was the first thing I picked up on. You said that the defenders were comical in the way they were messing about in the floor. 2 of them were both on the deck trying to get it, but it was tenacious by Hadji. He was in there trying to fight, and it's quick. It's harrying. He's making those defenders make the mistakes, and then getting his head up to do the things that he is good at. So that was the first thing I noticed about the goal as well. I thought it was a really good opening 20 minutes as well. It was good football. There wasn't lumping it up. Both teams were trying to play at football, which I actually enjoyed watching it as a spectacle, as a game of football, as a tactical contest. The both of them were trying to play good football, get it down and try to figure each other out. There was no shot, apart from that one we mentioned in the first 14 seconds, there was no shots for about 15, 20 minutes, but it was just good to watch, good tactical battle, and obviously we came out on top of that tactical battle by getting ourselves in front.
Definitely, and we didn't need to wait much longer to double our lead. Alfredo Morelos from if there was comical defending before, I don't know what this is. It happens sometimes. So you do need to feel for the centre half. It's just one of the things that happens every so often. I think it was Big Shaughnessy just completely misjudged the pass back. Morelos. How relieved are you for Morelos getting this goal, Graeme? I mean, it's been quite a drought for him, probably one of the longest he's had since being at Rangers. And I've actually, some of the chances that he's had, like I think back to the game last week against St Johnstone where he missed a glorious chance. I thought it was almost identical, but he was able to keep his composure this time and score. It's great for his confidence in moving in. If he's to start on Saturday, that'll be a massive boost to him.
Yeah, Alfie's been listening to Iain. It was what Iain mentioned the other day there on the last pod was head up, because what Iain was saying the last time was he's usually just head down power and shoot. This time it was head up, placing it, and just total different attitude, a total different approach to the shot and the opportunity. So thanks for listening, Alfie. Thanks for taking Iain's advice. And you're absolutely right. It is going to build his confidence, and hopefully it kicks him on now and spurs him on to a few more till he gets a wee run.
A bit later there, but would you start him, Iain, in terms of he's got the goal, and is that just what he's needing for his confidence? And do you think he will go and score more consistently now?
I think he will go on a run and start scoring again. My problem for him starting on Saturday is Kent was rested, so we're expecting him to start. Roof's been brilliant recently, and Hadji over the last 3 games has been excellent. Did Morelos really do enough to displace one of the 3? I don't think he did. And we all know he's previous against Celtic as well, so it's a case of, can we trust him as well? And to be honest, I'd go with no. So I think maybe the form of Hadji and Roof probably says that Morelos doesn't start on Saturday.
I thought he linked up well today. The only criticism I would go was he was coming deep, too deep sometimes. He was coming even deeper than like Kamara. So Highlander's get the ball and Morelos is dropping into his own half to pick up a pass when there was no need. There's midfield players there that can pick up that pass and then play it on him. He only done it a couple of times, but that was my only criticism. But in terms of his overall link-up play, I thought it was spot on. Done a nice couple of 1-2s, and it wasn't just the 1-2 where he was picking it up and laying it off. He was picking it up, laying it off, then getting into space to do another 1-2, and then looking for space again. He's always looking about. It's an obvious improvement in his game that he's been coached to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this debate will go on. What Alfie do we want? Do we want the one who banged 30 goals before Christmas just there, or do we want one who's, he went 8 or 9 games without a goal or something, however many games it was, He is making a big impact to the team, and just the quality of reinforcements that we've brought in, the likes of, Hadji, obviously permanent, Roof. It just means we don't need to rely on his goals, but obviously we'd like to see him, up his numbers in terms of goals. So, yeah, hopefully this kicks him on to go on a wee goal scoring run, and when better to break that duct against Celtic would it be on Saturday. So we went into half time obviously with 2-0. This is where my work took a bit of a beating here when I was trying to watch through one eye while doing some work. So it was quite pretty uneventful. Second half we looked comfortable. I thought St Mirren, they had some chances, more in the last 10 minutes they had their chances. What was your thoughts on the second half there, Ian? Is that anything in particular we thought we could have done better, or something we could have improved on?
They kept the ball better. I think we gave it away quite a lot. I think it was a case of game was over, and we kind of maybe at that point had an eye on Saturday. No, not want to overexert ourselves, not want to risk any injuries. Yeah, there weren't too many. The only real Morelos is a wee chance early in the half, and then the one Hadji's fired across the goal. If Kent's just a wee bit more on the front foot, he's got a tap in at the back post. Pretty uneventful second half for us.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. But Graeme, I guess you have to go on the point. We've done the hard work in the first half, and we were able to take our foot off the gas and just protect that lead. We had the 3 points in the bag. It would be better that than chasing the game for 90 minutes, and then I'm not saying it's a break, for that, but just passing the ball about nice so we can done the hard work in the first half and we're able to take, a bit of sting out of the game.
Yeah, but I think what it did allow us to do is allowed Aribo to get on the ball and start showing some tricks and start opening up St Mirren. He was committing defenders, he was taking people on, he was doing some nice wee step overs. Obviously, St Mirren were having to leave gaps because they were obviously chasing the game, so that allowed us to do that. But yeah, the passing became a bit slicker. Don't know if that's maybe because the pressure's off, but yeah, the pressure came off. Aribo looked fantastic. He's passing. His passing was fantastic. Kamara looks more athletic every time I watch him. He's just so dynamic in terms of the way he goes forward. He just looks shoulders back and driving at people, pace. It really looks more and more dynamic, as I say, as the season goes on. It's really good to see.
Definitely. I think, Kamara's been fantastic, and he does just look so cool and comfortable, doesn't he? Like, in terms of I think it's just his movement's very good. Like, he'll go and change of directions just so seamless for him, where, you look at other players and it looks as if they're doing a 3-point turn in a double-decker bus. So it's just, it's really good to see. Iain, I'll come to yourself just with regards to the subs. We've seen Kent introduced at 73 minutes. You said you were quite surprised to see him on the pitch.
Yeah, I think after Arfield against Hibs, I was surprised that you'd risk bringing him on when the game's done. You've clearly left him out for Saturday. So, yeah, I thought it was a crazy risk to take. He comes on, he could pull a muscle or anything, and it's cold outside today, so, and then he's out for Saturday, and then we're looking at, Brandon Barker. Do you know what I mean? That's the last thing we need. Yeah, I was a wee bit surprised with the Balogun one as well. Why Balogun? Why not Patterson?
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? I guess it's just at the end of the game, if they're going to be throwing balls into the box and things like that, you need somebody to head away. I guess that would maybe be the only logical thing, just to protect the 3 points and avoid a nervy ending. Yeah, so 3 points on the board, keep the pressure on, and lead the way at the top of the league. Graeme, very satisfied with it. Yet another win.
Obviously, yeah, definitely 3 points. It keeps the gap there. One thing I wanted to raise about the game was McGregor. My wee claim on about McGregor. I don't mean to do it, I really don't, but just a wee lapse in concentration from him. The balls... St Mirren have played a ball far too hard, overhit the pass, and it just needs to either clear it or fall on it and catch it, but instead he tries to do a sort of a turn or protect the ball the way Kamara was doing at the beginning of the season or last season, and he gets caught out. Luckily, Hollander's there to bail him out. But that was only sort of troublesome moment we had in the defence. But no, delighted with a clean sheet. I think it's really important we just keep getting these clean sheets. And yeah, delighted with the 3 points.
So we move on to the previewing the Old Firm on Saturday. Discussed this last time with Graeme and Iain. What's your plans before the game looking like for this time? I know it'll be very different from previous Old Firms.
Wake up. That's essentially it. Can't do anything. So probably just wake up, have some breakfast, and I don't know. Do you know what I don't like? I don't like watching like the build up to games, any game, not just the Old Firm. I just can't be bothered with like when you've got a Celtic biased pundit. I just can't be bothered with that. So Rangers TV's fine because they're all obviously Rangers biased. But see when you've got either Gordon Strachan or John Hartson or Chris Sutton, that just does my head in. I can't deal with that. So I'll be 25 past 12. Or is it at 12 o'clock? Half 12?
Half 12, I think, yeah.
25 past, I'll be turning it on.
No, that's good to hear. So we move in. I think the major sort of talking point in terms of the injuries we've picked up is the midfield three, and I think I'd be very surprised if it wasn't what we started with today, and we don't really have any options to come in. That's obviously just depending on Jack and Arfield's fitness. Graeme, how do you feel about the midfield if it was to be the same midfield, and how disappointing is it for Arfield and Jack to be missing out if they are?
Regardless, that's my midfield three anyway. I would be going Davis, Kamara and Aribo with the last few games anyway. Yeah, I'd be quite happy with that. Yeah, you're right. We've got a midfield cover there. You've got Zungu as the midfield cover, but do you really want him? You certainly wouldn't be starting him, I don't think, in terms of his, an Old Firm debut. So But no, I'm happy with that midfield three. It's the one I would go with based on what we've had the form of the players in the last few weeks anyway.
Yeah. As well, moving on, Ian, I'll come to yourself. Sorry, I've done this in a bit of a roundabout way, but the defence, I'd be quite surprised if there was any changes. The only really one that I would expect is maybe Balogun coming in for Hollander, but I think Hollander has shown in the past few games that he's back at the first choice centre half.
I don't know. I think Balogun will come back in. I think it's more about Balogun's pace. I think is the reason he starts. He tends to start the bigger games. St Mirren are one up front today, so you've kind of always got that Goldson cover. So I think that's when Hollander tends to play, when it's one up front. But I definitely think Balogun will be starting. So it'll be Tav, Goldson, Balogun, and Barisic for me.
Yeah, I agree with that, Scott. I think that's the way to go. Hollander was good today, but I think he was forced into the game because they just marked Goldson at the game. They didn't want Goldson bringing the ball out of defence, so they left Hollander to bring it out, and he excelled. All his passing was fantastic today, actually. You know, there was no misplaced passes. Everything was slick. It's good to see with the left foot coming, the left foot passes coming out as well. I like that. But I think they're probably going to start with Edouard and Griffiths. So I think the pace is going to be required. So for me, it's Balogun starting as well.
I was going to bring that up there. How do you feel about that, Graeme, coming up against two centre forwards? Because, to be honest, I'm thinking back to the Hibs game where we drew 2 each and we didn't cope with it particularly well. Are you nervous about facing, two strikers, like coming up against that?
Yeah, I think I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. I can see us conceding. What I take comfort from, though, is that I think we'll outscore them. I've just got a feeling that there's going to be something. There's going to be something in the box, or I was thinking the first thing that happened today was when Davis gave it away in the first minute of the game. I was thinking if that was a Celtic striker, we would get punished for that. That's where we would get punished. So we're going to need to really be on the ball. I don't have any concerns. I hope I'm not tempting fate here. I don't have any concerns about crosses into the box or corners. I think we'll dominate them. I think we'll be up for it there. Just in and about us, I think Edouard and Griffiths, that's where my concern comes from. And that's why I think it's important Balogun is in to try and snuff that out if possible. Anything in behind us, I'm confident he would be able to do that. So it is my concern for the game. But as I say, I'm confident we'll outscore them.
I think so, yeah. As I said, I don't think we've came up against it much, and be interesting to see how they'll react to that. I can't imagine them not going two up front, to be fair. I think that's the last 2 or 3 games they've went two up top there, so I fully expect that, and it'll be interesting to see how we cope with that.
They're saying they've gone two up front against the last couple of teams, but the last 3 games they've played have been Ross County, Hamilton, Dundee United, not Rangers. So, do they change it coming up against us? Because if they go 2 up top, I mean, Motherwell went 0 up top, and then St Mirren 1 up top. And do you go 2 up top? I don't know, because then you're leaving space for somebody else somewhere.
Yeah, if we can control that midfield, which we are good at, and controlling possession, that's what they're going to have to think about. Do they want to sacrifice a midfield player to allow us to just dominate the game, or do they sacrifice that and put up an extra guy up front? And could Fat Griffiths keep up with the pace for 90 minutes? It's a serious point. Can he keep up with us, the pace of that game for 90 minutes? I don't think he probably could. You can tell with his pot belly that he's not going to be able to keep up with us. I don't think so. Yeah, I think they've got, and that's probably a good point. It's probably them that have to try and counter Rangers. They're having to say, right, how are we going to tackle this? This team are unstoppable at the moment. How are we going to do it? No one else has been able to do it. So how are we going to how are we going to try and combat this, machine that's coming towards us? I don't see how they're going to do it. I think we can outfight them, we can outplay them, I think we can. No matter what tactic they deploy, I think we'll have a way of beating it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I watched the game against Hamilton just because it was on after the Rangers game in Boxing Day, and it was almost like a diamond in that midfield they're setting up with. So they had, they obviously had, Griffiths and Edward up front, and they had the two fullbacks bombing on, and almost that Sorrell, who's came from absolute nowhere, is sort of playing almost as a third centre back. But I just think with that tactic, it's just going to leave so much space, especially for our fullbacks, which we're good at. So I'm very curious how they're going to combat that, because they'll have absolute no width. They'll put 4 centre midfielders in the park, but I think there'll be an opportunity for our fullbacks really to bomb on. So it'll be interesting to see how they set up to combat us, because I think it's definitely them that should be worrying about how we're setting up. Lastly, we touched upon it in the St Mirren game, the front three. So Iain, I'll come to yourself. You were quite strongly, not strongly against Morelos, but you seem to think that he would be a game maybe to sit out. So are you going with Hadji, Kent and Roof then?
Yeah, that's the way I'd go. I think it's more a case of the players have been playing well. Roof's been scoring goals. Hadji's been setting up goals, scoring goals. I don't think Morelos had a bad game, but I don't think he'd done enough to justify dropping one of the two. And as we said before, Kent was clearly left out with Saturday in mind. So, yeah, be interesting though, because obviously, I don't know if you've seen that Julian went off injured today. So, does that then throw a spanner in the works with Gerrard's thinking? Because you'd imagine, it tends to be Beaton instead of Duffy. I'd love it to be Duffy, but it's probably Beaton. Do you stick Morelos up against Beaton and see if Morelos can, or do you go with Roof? His movement's maybe a wee bit better than Morelos's, and see if they can catch Beaton sleeping.
I think we go with both. My front three would be Roof, Morelos, and Kent. I would, and for that reason, you want Morelos to annoy them. He'll be in about them, buzzing about the centre halves and winding them up. Hopefully, he doesn't lose his discipline, and he can. That's obviously keyword you mentioned, Iain, was trust. Can we trust him? So if we can get it in his head that go and annoy them, but don't do anything stupid, yes, we can annoy them. But what I really want, or what I think would be beneficial, would be Roof being a combative player as he is, will be able to drop into the midfield when we need him. That's more important to me than having Hadji, who, although we did mention that he was a bit tenacious today and willing to put yourself about, I think you get more of that from Roof. So if it's needed, we can get Roof dropping in and supporting the midfield, but also then moving forward, he's got that ability to support Morelos. So that would be my front three: Roof, Morelos and Kent.
I think there's no question about it. We will see all 4 of their players throughout the game, whether that be a sub if Morelos comes out. There's absolutely no question he's going to play a part. Hadji as well. It's really interesting what we're talking about this, because about 2 weeks ago we weren't even contempted Hadji to start in an Old Firm game. Never mind starring in a few games there. So I think you've been a bit harsh on Hadji there, Graeme, because you look at, I know you'll probably admit it yourself, but you look at today, an assist, Boxing Day against Hibs, a goal in the previous game. How can you drop him, really?
Yeah, no, you're right. You play your 4 players, don't you? I don't know. To me, it's just that extra fight, extra strength in the midfield that Roof might provide us. But no, it's a toss-up in it. Who do you go with? It's great to have these opportunities. I was talking to my dad through the week, and he was saying he's never been so optimistic. He's more pessimistic than me. He's a worrier. And he was saying that he's never been into an Old Firm game in years and years thinking, I'm confident here, and I kind of agree with him. I'm confident going into this game now, even more so than I was the last one. I was confident the last one, up to be fair, but even more so now. I've got so much confidence that we can turn them over, and there's nothing to fear.
A wee spanner in the works. Does a Rebo drop out, and then all four of them play, and then you go 4-2-3-1, and see if you can get Hadji just in that wee pocket, trying to cause chaos. Because we've said it many a time that everybody reckons 10's his best position. So that would, obviously, Celtic aren't expecting that, because we've set up pretty much the same way all season. And why not? We're at home. We're the home team. We're the form team. Just go at them. They're terrible defensively. Just, as Graeme says, we'll outscore them. That's just, if we win 6-3, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just score more than they do.
Yeah, he always does. Gerrard always does like to throw in a wee curveball in his tactics. Recent of the curveballs that he throws sometimes is Barker, and I don't think any of us want that. But and it might be, you might see that as that's his wee curveball that he wants to throw in, and it could be that he's the one that plays. But it wouldn't be my choice. But you're absolutely right. He might throw in something different that gets all four of their players on the pitch.
Iain, you touched on it there. Home. You're playing at home. Is that? I think we discussed this last time. Is there a big advantage? We seem to disagree with it last time and say, it's a neutral venue. No, not a neutral venue, but same set of circumstances, no fans. Is there an advantage for us playing at Ibrox, do you think?
No. 10 games, 10 wins would suggest that is. Was that 30? I'm just looking at it. 32 goals scored, 1 conceded. I mean, that's a ridiculous home record by anybody's standards. So I definitely do think it, and I think it's maybe because we are impatient at Ibrox that we're seeing such an improvement. We do get on the team's back. We expect an awful lot from our team, and if we're not winning by 15 minutes, we're on the team's back, and we're starting to get edgy. So maybe that not being there for the team this year is definitely seen an improvement in the home form.
Of yourself, Graeme, it's playing at home. It's got to be in our favour. But do you think that changes their approach? Do we be more attacking or set up as how we done in the last Old Firm where we got success?
Yeah, of course we've got home advantage. I wouldn't even give Celtic a dressing room. I'd make them change it in the car park. Change in the bus. Disrupt them as much as we can. Cold water and stuff like that. The hot water's off. We can't let you change in there. So, no, serious point. Of course, we get the home advantage. It's going to make a difference. I think it's where we're comfortable. So, yeah, we'll have it's an Old Firm game. It doesn't have too much of an advantage, I suppose. It's more about what the 11 players do in the pitch, and that's where my confidence comes from. We've just got so many better players playing better football. That's, yeah.
Just on our final point, so in terms of the result, I think obviously we all desperately want 3 points, and we should always aim for that. But how would you feel, Iain, if it was just if we were able to hold on to a draw? Obviously, depending on the performance and no doubt refereeing decisions and various other things that comes with Scottish football, but I feel, would you take a point just now, or is it absolutely 3 points for yourself?
I wouldn't take a point just now because I'm confident we can beat them. But I don't think a point's a bad result. It's one less game for them to catch us. They've not got any closer. Okay, we've not got any further away, but as I say, they're not any closer, and they've got one less game to try and claw back that difference in.
Definitely. I think it's more of an important game for Celtic than it is us, and it will just frustrate them even more. Graeme, what about yourself? And would you agree with Iain there?
Yeah, let's just get the game done. Let's just beat them and just drive the nail home. That would just crush them. It would put so much pressure on them. It would be unsurmountable, I think, if we were to beat them. I think that would be the... Is that too confident? I'm probably too confident in it, but that's the way it feels. It really does. That's the way it feels. It is. If we can beat them, we're out of sight almost. It's really then just ticking off the games like we've been doing. As long as we can keep doing it, I'd take a point. But no, I want 3. I want 3, and we should be geared up to do it. It's a perfect opportunity for us. Perfect opportunity for us to then get those 3 points and just extend that lead.
No, I think that's the view of everyone. Everybody is confident that we've got a better team, a manager, almost better everything. So I think, in terms, we all want 3 points, but I mean, just if you never know how the game's going to pan out, it would be a much better point for us than it would Celtic. That was just the point I was trying to raise. So we'll move on lastly to your predictions for the game. So kick us off, Iain. What is your thoughts on the result?
3-1 for me.
Not the 6-3, no?
No. Well, maybe stick a pound on it. 3-1. I think, there's definitely goals to be had against them. If they're smart, they'll be trying to get the ball wide and get crosses in because we've been struggling with it. But that'd be high praise for Neil Lennon to figure that one out. 3-1 for me. I reckon Tav will get a goal again. He's a wee mini drought for him this season. James, Beckham, Penn, Tavernier. So he'll get a goal. I reckon Roof will get one. And hopefully Morelos gets one against them.
Fingers crossed. Graeme, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I've went with 3-1 as well. It's going to be a Roof to open the scoring. Celtic will equalise. It'll go 1 each at half time. And then Goldson will score from a corner. And then Morelos will top it off on the 80th minute. 3-1 to Rangers.
Well, I might as well go for 3-1 as well then. So I didn't have a prediction, so I'll go with that now then. So I do think Goldson will score again. I just feel as though we've got something there. I think Kent's obviously no scored this Old Firm for this season. I know he's only done 1 game, so he's due a goal in an Old Firm. And we'll say Morelos to break his drought against Celtic. So fingers crossed for that. Okay, so that brings us to a close for today. So I would just like to thank my 2 co-hosts, Iain McCreadie, for joining today. Thanks, Iain.
Thanks for having us.
And demoted to assistant now, Graeme Currie. Thank you.
Cheers, Scott. Good job. We are the people.
Well, as I say, hopefully we're back on Sunday with 3 points in the bag and an Old Firm win. Thanks for listening. Take care.